Thanks for the introduction, Ravi. I'm not Cyril Ramaphosa. I'm the best supporting actor. We are going to be talking to you, I hope, very succinctly and directly about our assessment of the political situation in the country at the moment, and indeed the broader social situation of South Africa 10 years after the unbanning of the ANC. We believe we've been chosen because we are thoroughly independent and objective on these matters, but I have to tell you that we are deeply biased by passion for this bid and for the country. So with that health warning, I think I'm one of many South Africans who wanted to live to see three things. The one was Nelson Mandela being released and becoming president of South Africa. The second was seeing Bafana Bafana become a true force in world football. And the third was seeing the World Cup staged in South Africa. Well, I've seen the first. I didn't quite see the second, although I very loyally followed Bafana Bafana all around France '98, and we were not disgraced, but I wouldn't say that we were a major force at that stage. And we hope to help in a small way to see the third dream, come true. We do need the context that Ravi has referred to. And I don't think that there could be any better person to give you that context, how it came about, this miraculous transition in South Africa, than one of the people who played an absolutely iconic and key role in it, Cyril Ramaphosa. So before we come back to the present and the future, I think if we just very briefly ask Cyril to take us back to those halcyon years.
Thank you, Sean. It's a pleasure to be presenting this motivation for our bid to yourselves. I guess the story of present-day South Africa needs to be seen in historical context. And to confirm this, I like this quote by our president, Thabo Mbeki. He says, "All societies necessarily bear the imprint, the birthmarks of their own past. A penetrating understanding," he says, "of our country today requires that we also look at its past." And we've had a really terrible and horrible past. But in our case, that penetrating look into our past has enabled us to be able to project into a future and see a bright future. Prior to 1994, we were a nation that was at war, a nation that was virtually tearing itself apart. South Africans were divided and pitted against each other, divided along racial lines in various aspects of human endeavor. They were divided in community life, they were divided in business, they were racially divided in education, they were racially divided even in churches, in religion. But they were also racially divided even in sport. And it had to take the courage and the vision and wisdom of our master nation builder, Nelson Mandela, to break this terrible, violent impasse when he called for negotiations between the ANC and the then apartheid government. That brave and courageous move led to formal negotiations commencing, which culminated in a settlement that enabled every South African to be able to have the right to vote. On 27th April 1994, millions of South Africans, ordinary people, from early morning until late at night in long, winding queues, were able to go to the polls and declare their choice of leadership and government. And South Africans later watched, as well as the world, in wonder when a 75-year-old former prisoner became South Africa's first democratically elected president. The South African miracle had happened against all odds when everyone thought that the country would just collapse into violence and anarchy. And when President Mandela said, "Free at last," he actually was saying to all of us, and all of us, black and white, felt free indeed.